Yes. Big up, people. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Me and Leah are in a good mood. And do you know what, judges? People are blaming you for being late. And I can say, chat, that it was my fault. So I do apologise. Dan Potts is never late. It must be Lee. God, look at that reputation you get, judges. Unbelievable, isn't it?
It's really harsh, you know what I mean? Because I'm very punctual, like, you know what I mean? Very, like, you know, time is the key, you know what I mean? So, but Dan Potts, you know, his Christmas present will be an alarm clock. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying, like, yeah.
Mate, it needs to be. I'm becoming worse and worse. I used to be really punctual. Now it's getting to.
Is that right? You overslept this morning, I hear. You know,
I did, mate. I overslept this morning big time. Do you know why I overslept this morning? Because the Arsenal were playing and we won and we were buzzing about it, mate. Listen, we're going to get into that. Big up to Lee Gunner, by the way, who's raided the chat and sent everybody this way. Absolute legend. Thanks so much for the redirect, bro. Really appreciate that one. Big up to all of you in the chat. Please make sure you're doing us a favor and hitting the like button. Make sure you've hit subscribe and make sure you're following myself on Football's 12th Man, which it will redirect you to at 4 p.m. because I've got a show. And if you want to see an Arsenal and Spurs fan ranting at each other, then please come and join me. That's all I will say at 4 p.m. Well worth a watch. Judges, what can we say last night? Talk to me.
Great day. Great night. Listen, you know, Man United set up to frustrate and they've accused us of Stoke tactics. Well, I don't know what their tactics were then, like, you know what I mean? Like, they park more buses than at a terminal. You know what I mean? Like, but listen, that's what they've got to do, and I ain't got no problem with that because that's what teams that are not as good as you do, and that's what they've done. That's what they thought that they could get the win from that, and we found it very, very difficult to break through, particularly in the first half. Give them credit for that. Like second half, we stepped it up a little bit, sussed out what they was doing. I think, you know, looked at ways that we could get through, and we thought, well, I don't know. It might be a tough. I'll tell you what, we'll have a couple of corners that do. Bosh, see you later. End of, like, you know, and could have gone on and won it a little bit more, like, you know. So, listen, I love it when I'm hearing Man United fans and other fans getting onto us. And listen, I that, but and then they turn around and say, "Oh, no excuses, no excuses. We're not making excuses. We're just winning games now." And then I see refereeing decisions yesterday that were, let's say, a little bit controversial. I'd like to be on the end of a couple of those ones from Liverpool. I'd like to be on the end of a stonewall penalty that you don't get with VAR. And I'd also like to be on a decision when it's 1-3 in the last minute and you decide to blow up. I'd like to be on the end of one of those decisions as well sometime soon, like, you know. Not the other way round. But listen, we got our job done. I thought we was really good in the second half, and the set piece is unbelievable. And I don't care what anybody says, Dan. I'm not having it. There's a few people saying they enjoy beating Man United more than Arsenal, more than Tottenham. I enjoy both.
So do I. Thank you. So do I.
All right, you know, I despise Man United for all what they've done to us and the buffet and cheating that they've done over the years. And they have given me some pain, you know what I mean, like that semi-final. But any time that their fans are unhappy is a good day for me, I have to say. But
can I just say, like, Tottenham and Man United, very quickly, geographically, rivals, Spurs, hate their fans. But rivalry, to me, is when you're both fighting for something. Year on, year after year. And that is why I hate Man United. I think it's quite simple. And those that say they hate Man United more, I kind of get it. Those that say they hate Tottenham more, I kind of get it. But it's great beating both of them. There's not one I enjoy beating over the other. It's great beating both. And so far this season, we've beaten both.
Do you know what? I asked this question today. I enjoy it. I probably like, you know, like beating Man United is probably more satisfaction, I suppose, because they're a tougher. But it's always relief when you beat Spurs. Oh, thank God for that. It's put on the back burner for 6 months now, like, you know.
It's like going to the dentist. You just wanted to be over, didn't you? And just be all right. That's what it is, Tottenham. You just want it to be all right. Apparently, Russ is saying happy Christmas to you or saying his box.
Yeah, like I'm going around his for breakfast tomorrow, like sausage sandwich. I hope he's put it. It's lovely that he's doing all this for us. But was meant to go today, but we couldn't make it. Like, so I hope he's got fresh rolls in. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't like a crusty like, Russ. So make sure they're nice and fresh, son. Make sure they're nice and fresh because we are coming round tomorrow, like.
I'll just say a quick story, right? I see Russ last night. He had a few. That's all I'm going to say. He had a few.
He's unreal. You know what I mean? He's unreal, the bloke. He turns around and says, yeah, I'm not having too many, like, and I said, how many do you have? He said about 5 or 6, and then I started slowing down.
Then I slowed down. He texted me yesterday. I said to him, what are you doing? He says, I'm going to the Tollinen. This was at 1:30, by the way. Him and Roger at the Tollinen at 1:30. I was like, blimey, that's bloody early. So I rung him. I was in the Tolly. I said, can't see you. I'm walking down to the ground now. We've been in there all day. It was about 20-7. I thought, blimey. So I went to Shay had a few and then come over and met him. And Roger comes up to me. He's drunk. Hoggy's come up to me. He's just staring at me all merry. He's happy. And I thought, yeah, you've had a good day, Russ. And a better evening, mate.
I'll tell you what, like, then he sits down, right? We get to on our... When I always like to have a little brisk walk to Finsbury Park, you know what I mean? Like, just a good thing to have a walk. So, oh, no, I don't want to walk. That's what he said. I don't want to walk. I said, why is that then? He says, my foot's hurting. Right, you know what I mean? So he sits down on the platform bench. Oh, my foot's hurting. Like, you know what I mean? He fails to mention the 8 or 9 beers he's had. Like, do you know what I mean? He fails to mention that. Like, it's only when he's on the train, he turns around and he says, I've had a few today. Like, you know what I mean? So the reason he don't want to walk is because he's had a few beers.
Gotta love Russ, man. But listen, I was really impressed last night with the fact that our set pieces have yet again become our secret weapon. And I think we need to discuss it more, Lee, because there's a lot of people that want to turn around and say Stoke. Funny enough, they weren't calling us Stoke the last few games, but now all of a sudden we're back to playing Stoke again. I don't mind if it wins us games of football. I've always said that, mate. When you play like Stoke and you don't win, you start to turn into Stoke, no doubt. When you play like Stoke and you're winning, I don't care if you have to do that a couple of games. But I want to talk about these set pieces because everybody mentions Gabriel. Oh, it's only Gabriel that's good from set pieces. It's only Gabriel. Gabriel weren't there yesterday. All right, Saliba was. Thomas Partey, Saliba, Timber, all involved with goals. And then you've got to look at the delivery from Rice and Saka. And I think Nicholas Jover, as much as people want to say it's Mikel Arteta that's Pulis and all this, really it's him, mate, because he's been magnificent. And I think our set pieces at the moment, I love the fact that we're having little whispers in each other's ears and it makes the opposition fear us. I've never been to a football stadium where when you win a corner, everyone goes, oh, that is incredible. It is turning into when you get a corner, it's like getting a penalty now for Arsenal. So talk to me, man. Who deserves credit for this?
Well, the whole backroom staff, the players, everybody, they've obviously worked on it. It's no coincidence. And it is amazing that we're being picked up on that. I don't know. Chelsea won 5-1 yesterday. Well done, Chelsea. Funny that their first goal was a set piece, you know what I mean, from a corner, so that gets you up and running, And as for these Man United fans, right, calling us Wimbledon or Stoke or whatever, you had 2 chances yesterday, 2 chances in a whole game with all of that talent on the field, Manchester United. You had 2 chances yesterday. Love and behold, what from? Set pieces. So, it just happens. So, listen, I think it's fantastic. Stoke, you call us that. Listen, Wimbledon, I had a lot of admiration for Wimbledon, and, they done what they was one of what was in their armoury and set pieces. Stoke did that with the long ball and, listen, I know we used to go at Stoke going, well, we're going to concede 1 goal today. You knew that you was going to concede. You knew you had to get 2 goals to have a good chance of winning the game. Listen, Manchester United, I've not seen a Manchester United team for a very, 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 very long while set up and play like that when they left their attacking players out open to just, and I'm not being horrible. When they took their defensive players off and put their attacking players on, we had more chances than anything like that. So there's a reason why they done it. There's a reason why they done it. And but listen, you focus on us and not focus on the crap that you turned out yesterday, because as poor as we've been, we've never done that. We've never left our best players out at Old Trafford to get, we've been stuffed and gone try to go toe to toe with them when we know that we're nowhere near at their level and got stuffed. That was the thing that they didn't want to happen yesterday. They know that if they would have come out and played football with us toe to toe, they would have got stuffed. So they'd gone down a different route, and that's fair enough. And I've got no problem with that. And you ain't going to hear me saying boring Man United and all that, because I understand that that's what happens in football, Dan. And listen, what pleased me more than anything else is that we've run over teams in the last couple of games. Yesterday was a different game where we had to find ways to get through it. It wasn't easy. Man United made it hard for us, and we did. And that was in the end, it was a comfortable 2-0 win. On the back of that, all what's going on in games before, I don't like it when the games are going on at the same time, Dan. Like say if Liverpool had played the day before, what's happened, or the day after. When it's going on at the same time, there's one eye on it, and I don't care what anybody says. The fans at half time, we all knew that Chelsea were winning quite comfortably. We also knew that Manchester City were winning comfortably. And when we went in at half time, Liverpool were losing 2-1. When we come out to take our seats for the second half, Liverpool were winning 3-2. So that just shows you there was a little bit of nervousness in the stadium, a little bit of pressure on the team. But I felt that in that second half, we really just stepped up a level, and that's what you want to see teams do. And at the end of it, we've got the 3 points, and that's all you can do. And listen, I think that there were some real big pluses in there, and Ricky, your conversation about Martinelli. Listen, I'm with you on this. Me and Dan were speaking about this earlier on. There is going to have to be a conversation about Martinelli in the next week or so. I thought he was good defensively again, Dan, but attacking wise, not at it. But then in his defence, none of our attacking players were. That's probably Havertz's worst game I've seen him play in the false nine. I didn't think that he was a danger at all, really. It was a lovely move for Odegaard for the goal that he should have probably scored. Good save from Ronaldo. But then I have to look at it and say that the Saka weren't great today. Odegaard weren't at his very, very best. But listen, Martinelli, wasn't at his best yesterday, So listen, at the end of it, great 3 points, Dan. Can't be more than happy than what we've got. And we move on to the next game now, which I think will be even tougher come Sunday against Fulham.
Yeah, they're a good side, Fulham, but they're inconsistent. But they've got a lot of players we know about. Iwobi, Smith Rowe, Leno, Reece Nelson on loan. Actually, won't play, will he, Reece Nelson, I suppose? So, look, I think we've got an opportunity to really keep this run going. What I will say about the attack, look, I want to mention some of the players that were on fire, because I think Saliba, Timber and Rice all deserve a mention. And I will mention Kivior and Raya as well, who I thought were both very, very good, particularly with that save at 1-0 Raya made. But I think the attack at the moment, Lee, I do think that we've got to try and find a way of getting through them. We can't just rely just on set pieces, because as much as they keep going in, sometimes they don't go in, right? So when we get to a stage where our front four ain't firing, because you're right, Martinelli was the one that disappointed me the most out of the front four, but Havertz did nothing. Saka was quiet, so was Odegaard. And Odegaard's reluctance to shoot at times really frustrates the hell out of me, if I'm honest. So when I look at what we've got in that front four, there must be something. I don't know if we need to bring someone on. Maybe Marino could come in and help. Maybe Maneri can come in and help. Trossard we've mentioned as well. I think that's definitely the first thing you can do. But I'm talking about the front four in the first half that were really struggling to create much. Now, you can say that Partey and Martinelli should have scored, but they were both from set pieces as well, I believe. So when you look at open play, Arsenal need to look at finding a way to unlock teams. Now, sometimes you've got to give the opposition credit, because Man United are actually thinking the first half deserved credit. I think they kept the ball nicely, stifled us, nullified our attack, made it hard. And that, to me, is Amorim, right? But I think that Arsenal need to get one better and go, right, this ain't working, so now I'm going to try this. And I don't know what this is. I don't know what the difference is, but something needs to happen, because you can't just say, right, we ain't going to break this team down, so on to set pieces we go, because set pieces aren't going to win you a game every single time. You've got to find a way to break these teams through. Now, Fulham, if they've got anything about them, sense-wise, will do the same as Man United. They'll sit and they'll make it hard. They'll go in a low block and they'll go, come on and try and score if you can. And we'll try and hit you on the counter with the pace of the Traore and some of the other lads they've got in terms of quality. So I think it could be quite tricky as well. Do you think there's anything at the moment you're seeing in the front four that is not quite working? You think he could change to try and get those goals? Because you mentioned Martinelli, Havertz had a chance. Odegaard should have shot. Saka, at times as well, could have done better. Was it just an off day, off night, or is there something you see?
I think you have to give Man United a little bit of credit, and probably like a little bit of an off day. I felt like Havertz was just off the pace a little bit. Maybe the games have caught up on him a little bit. The same with Odegaard. I think like his levels have been unbelievable. And by the way, he wasn't at his best yesterday, but he's still fantastic to watch and still created and a few chances. So, the level that he's had since he's come back from injury, it was probably expected that he was going to have a little bit of a low in that, but it wasn't much. I don't think there's too much. I think it's very, very interesting now what he does with Martinelli, because when clearly not getting the best out of him, whether it's an arm around him, telling him like, come on, or saying to him now, like, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 games, I'm not going to take you off and whatever. I don't know, but he's got to get him firing, because for the first time yesterday, I got home and I watched Anthony Gordon, and I'm thinking, I wouldn't mind him on the left-hand side. And I've never said that about him. I'm a big Martinelli fan. I've never said that. But, that was a chalk and cheese performance from someone that rips apart Liverpool, and Martinelli ripped Liverpool apart on a couple of occasions before. He's done it. We know he can do it, but there's something not quite right with him at the moment. And I'm not onto this. I'm not onto this thing of what people have sussed him out, because yeah, you can't suss out pace, Dan. You can't suss it out. You know what I mean? Like but he doesn't seem to be able to outpace anybody at the moment. There's a couple of times I think he tried to get away yesterday, and there was like tackles going in on him. Like, listen, he wasn't awful, but we need to get more out of him if we're gonna. You imagine if we had Anthony Gordon playing like he did yesterday. Like, can they afford to leave so many players on Saka? You know what I mean? And just let him run right down the no, and that's what we've got to get. If you're going to be tagging over there 3 or 4 players on Saka and all that, and Odegaard, then surely there's space somewhere. And I looked at it yesterday, and Havertz found it difficult with the 3 central defenders to get in between the lines and drop in there. So you've got to be looking for someone, Dan. One of those 4 has got to be able to excel, And I look at other teams, and I think, he should be doing better. Somebody said there in the chat, I don't agree with that, he wouldn't get into any of the top 10 teams. He would, you know what I mean? But he's not at the level that he should be. When we know what
I said earlier on LB's channel, there ain't any left wingers that are pulling up trees in the Premier League.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, years ago, you used to have Gareth Bale, Hazard, Pires, Giggs. Where have they all gone? Because I look at it now, you've got Mitoma, you got Rashford, you got Martinelli, Diaz, Grealish, Doku. None of them are pulling up trees, are they? Do you know what I mean?
No, they're not. Song was a great one at one stage. You know what I mean? But he's gone off the ball because he's aged a little bit. But you're dead right. You know what I mean? There's no one really producing for whatever reason. I don't really understand why it hasn't.
Anthony Gordon's probably the best, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think Anthony Gordon, Kudus has been mentioned there, but I watched him the other night. I know he's just come back from suspension. But
he's more right winger though, isn't he?
Yeah, so there ain't someone you can turn around and go, wow, like Gordon's probably the one, and he was brilliant yesterday. But yeah, I think that listen, I don't really want to go negative when you're looking at these sort of games and everything like that, because at this moment in time, it's we're on a good run, we're looking good. That was a good game for us yesterday. It was a big test for us yesterday, Dan, because it's all right beating. As Paul said on the channel the other day, is it more about the opposition than the teams, and I kind of get that. Yesterday wasn't that. There was a team that dug in, was determined to get a point without the pressure of what we was under. This is a Man United team that I don't know what they're going for or whatever, but if they'd have got a point yesterday, they would have been pleased with that. But so there was all the pressure on us to win that game yesterday, and we did, and we did win it. So the credit to the players. Declan Rice, outstanding. Timber, very, very close to man of the match, along with Saliba as well. I thought them three were on a different level yesterday. And what was good about that, Dan, is that I felt Saliba and Declan Rice and Timber were the difference, and that's why we won that game. And sometimes you need that. You can't rely on the front four all the time, and one of them, sometimes it has to be another player and another this. And yesterday, I thought Rice drove us to victory, followed up by a magnificent defensive performance from Saliba and an all-round performance from Timber.
Yeah, I thought Timber got a lot of plaudits, deservedly so. Again, Saliba, running out of superlatives for him, bruv. He's absolutely amazing. Brilliant. Kivior deserves a mention.
Yes,
come in.
Yes,
Gabriel, obviously being injured. Kivior getting the nod and actually playing well. Zinchenko, we'll come back to him in a minute because I thought he started well and then had to come off in the end. Rice, that is what I want to be seeing from Declan Rice. It's a shame he can't put in consistent performances like that in the 8, because when I look at that is what I want to be seeing from the second half of Declan Rice in the 8. And I think some of it's fitness, Lee, if I'm honest. I think he's been absolutely flogged, hasn't he, for a club and country, Declan Rice. And now that he's becoming a little bit fitter, perhaps that's what he needed, was a couple of games out to get himself refreshed, because I thought he was amazing and he actually got player of the match. But look, I've got to be real with you, bro. I think the players deserve a mention for this. David Raya, world-class save at 1-0. Such an important save, as you say, from a set piece. Kivior, come in, solid performance. Zinchenko, pretty solid until the last 20 minutes when he had to get subbed.
Yeah.
He always has that in him. This is why I don't trust the guy. Mate, left back. This is why, Saliba and Timber, absolutely immense on that right-hand side. And the left-hand side, you're thinking, do you know what? It's looking all right. And then Zinchenko, he gets done. And then he gets yellow carded. And then Arteta does what Arteta does best, and that is take him off. And he's learning now, because he should have done that at Anfield a couple of seasons ago when we lost the league. That's what he should have done. Brought on Kieran Tierney. This time, master stroke to bring on and then get Timber back at left back. I thought that was superb thing to do. Partey at right back, shored it up, and they didn't get a kick. And Diallo was cooking Zinchenko, mate. Cooking him. And I thought, oh, God, here we go. So that was a good move from him. But I think the players that really stood out for me, the two in particular that I wanted to talk about, was Rice and Saliba. Timber deserves a mention as well. Great save from Raya and Kivior and Zinchenko. And like you say, you don't normally mention those players, Lee. It's normally how good was Odegaard, about Saka, Havertz on fire, Martinelli getting back into it, Trossard, blah, 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 Waneri coming on, Marino looking good. And this time it was more of our defence that were outshining.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's the greatest thing is you want. I've always said this, Dan, you ain't going to win the league. The ones that win you the league are the likes of Kivior, Zinchenko, those sort of players, Jorginho. When your best players are missing, they have to come in for 1 or 2 games, do the business, and then go out again. Then come back and do the business. That's what you need. And those players have come in, like Jorginho was Thomas Partey, who's been our best midfield player. Was he missed against West Ham? No. Was Gabriel, who's probably been our best defender over the course of the season, was he missed yesterday? No. Was Calafiori missed yesterday? No. Is Ben White being missed at the moment? No. So when you look at it and analyse it like that, that's good work, Dan. It's good work. Now, people that go, well, Odegaard was missed, but it's very, very hard to replace someone as good as Odegaard. You know what I mean? So, but the likes of Odegaard, Saka, Saliba, they've got to keep fit all season. Declan Rice. If we can keep those guys fit, we will still be up there, challenging, and yeah. So listen, I think that you can look at, like, you know, Sterling again didn't get on yesterday. Jesus didn't get on, you know. They've got to come to the party at some stage, Dan. They really have. When that will be, I don't know, but they're going to have to. Trossard come on yesterday. I thought done okay, a little bit greedy for my liking, but still put in a good performance when he come on. So that we've got these players now starting to perform, and I think that that's the key for us now. Kivior, by the way, I heard a lot of people before the game saying, "Oh, I'd rather play Declan Rice there, or I'd rather play so and so there, or whatever." Like, you know, done realistically well against West Ham. You know, people will say, "Oh, it was only West Ham." Well, when we had Gabriel and Saliba, they conceded 2 goals. Didn't concede when it was on his watch, and he hadn't conceded any in this game yesterday. Like, you know, and I felt that first 10, 15 minutes we had to see him through by just being a little bit. Covering him and things like that, but he grew into the game, didn't he? Grew into it. So big up to him. I think he deserved that, and he would have been nervous before the game, Dan, like, because as a player, he can feel the nervousness of the crowd as well, like, you know. But I thought he played really, really well. Got better and better as the game went on, and if he has to play on Sunday, he's got to do it again, Dan. He's got to have another top class performance. But obviously, we're all hoping Gabriel will be fit. But if he ain't, he's got to come in and do the job, you know. And then when Gabriel's fit, you can turn around and go, do you know what? We haven't missed Gabriel. What a good job he done. And that's what winning things can help, like, you know. So, listen, I think that it was a good night for us all round, you know. It was a good night for us, even though we dropped a top point in a place in the table. It was weird, isn't it? Like, but that didn't seem to bother us, like, you know.
No, it didn't seem to bother us because winning is what matters, and winning does cure all. I will say, touch on Chelsea quickly. Yeah, it's Southampton, and they went down to 10 men. Bloody funny red card, by the way. But I will say, what was he doing, by the way? But Chelsea were absolutely rampant. I will say, I think their midfield, yeah, it's nice. Their midfield's going to be good for the next 10 years.
The third goal, though? Was it the second goal?
Oh, yeah. What was the keeper doing?
Come on. You know what I mean?
What was he doing? My word. But it was comfortable for him, wasn't it? It was comfortable for him. And I expected it to be. Southampton is struggling. Do you know what I mean? So Chelsea, they're going to drop, but they're right now looking pretty good. And then Liverpool, Newcastle, Lee. In the stadium, obviously, where our game was latest, so I was hearing it. At one stage, someone was screaming that Newcastle were 3-1 up. And when I looked at it, it was 2-2. And I thought, what's going on? I think it was a VAR goal that was ruled off. But look, 3-3, should have had a penalty. Isak definitely was a penalty, in my opinion. But it was 3-3. It's now 7 points behind them. It just proves and goes to show that another couple of results and it goes our way, and all of a sudden we're right in the mix again. So does it fill you with confidence that Liverpool have dropped points and Arsenal will go on this winning streak? What does it mean as things are standing at the moment?
Yeah, at this moment in time, you know, you listen, it's nice that they have dropped some points. It could have been a lot worse for him in that game, really. I think, like, Van Dijk could have been sent off. You know exactly what he's doing there. Nasty bit of stuff that was on Gordon, in my opinion. You know, Harry's are pulling in the air worse than that. Can you work that out? Can you work that out?
He definitely knew what he was doing, didn't he?
100% he knew what he was doing, like, you know. But that was, I'm not saying he's being nasty with that. It's sort of like he's trying to stamp his authority, saying, look, you know, you're causing us a few problems there, take that sort of thing, like, you know. But listen, I think that he could have been worse than that, like, but, you know, as I say, like, you pull someone's ear, you're sent off, like, you know. So, and it's funny how that one was given and sent off, and one against Spurs weren't. When he pulled him in the pitch. Remember that one? Like,
I remember that. Last 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah, went to VAR, and VAR said, no, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, and now all of a sudden, a much less tug of his old Barnet, and it's a sending off. So strange that, like, you know. So
does need to cut his hair, though, doesn't he, Kokoraya?
Wow.
If he just cut his hair, we wouldn't have any of this.
No, you know, I've got no sympathy for him. Listen, if I'm playing, they've never done that to me. You know what I mean? So there we go. But,
excellent. Never happened to you in your day.
No, it wouldn't have happened in my day. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So,
yeah, man, it's interesting because there's a lot of people behind that were getting quite excited yesterday, and at the time, it was 0-0 our game, and I was thinking, you watch, we'll bloody mess this up. But we didn't. We got through it in the end. Let's quickly touch on Sunday because it is a big game and it's a tough game. The reason it's a tough game isn't just because of the position we're in. We actually lost there last year, if you remember, on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve, wasn't it? Sorry, New Year's Eve. So, got to get revenge, Lee.
Got to get revenge. Got to play well. You know, they're a decent side. We've got an extra day's rest. So they've got Brighton today, which is no mean go. I don't know if it's the same. Is it the same time kickoff today? Like I watched one. No. So I watched the first half of Fulham Brighton. Let's see what goes on there, like, you know, and then want to have a look at them. We want it to be a tough game for Fulham tonight. See what happens, and then, you know, one of the grounds I walked out of last season disappointed with. I felt I was let down by the Arsenal team. I haven't said that many times over the last couple of years. Definitely Newcastle this season would be one of them. But I think Fulham, I think it's a tougher game than yesterday. I think it's away from home. We've got to go there, defend well, and we've got to take our chances. We've got to win that game, Dan. Simple as that. Got to win. Put pressure on, win. And knowing what's happened with Liverpool the day before. You've got Chelsea then playing Spurs. You know, so listen, it's a massive, massive game. They're all big games at this moment in time. We put ourselves in a position where it is, but we've got to win this game, and we've got to win the next one, and the game after that, game after that, game after that. Like, you know what I mean? And we just got to do it. So, that is all we can do. That is all we can do. We've said we've got to go on this run, and let's see where it is. Where we are Boxing Day, how many points we're behind. And if it's only 2 or 3, we're definitely back in the hunt. If we're still 8 or 9, we're not. So, but all we can do is just keep winning at this moment in time, putting pressure on.
Well, you said, didn't you, 10 games? It's now 7 games. We've won the first 3. Yeah. It's now 7 games we got. And I know we shouldn't look too far ahead, but we are in a position at the moment with our fixtures where Arsenal and the Emirates need to become a fortress because we're pretty much there the old time. I know we've got a few away games that they're actually only in London. We don't leave anywhere until the 4th of January, and that's only Brighton.
Yeah, it's only Brighton.
We ain't really got any excuses about travel or anything like that. So we just got to keep winning game after game. And that includes the cup games at both at the Emirates against Palace and United, and the Champions League games against Monaco and Zagreb, all at the Emirates as well. So really, how it's worked out for us, it just proves how bloody much we've been away already in the first start of the season, isn't
it? Exactly that, Dan. Like, you know, and that's why these games are important. We've got 2 tough games, Fulham and Crystal Palace. But if you're going to win the league, or you've got to win those games. You know, if Liverpool playing there, you expect them to win there. So we've got to win those games and then back it up with Everton at home. And at the back end of the last 2 games in that 10-game unbeaten run are Tottenham at home and Aston Villa at home. You know what I mean? So we've got to win those games as well, like, you know. So, you know, we're playing some big games at home, and we can't afford to mess it up. And I thought yesterday was a good thing, because teams will look at what Man United done and go, well, okay, they've gone there, defended like they did, and still didn't get the result. So, you know, imagine if they'd have won that game yesterday, Man United, other teams would go, oh, that's what we're going to do. So it's very, very important that we continue to keep winning, and we've just got to, you know, like, I'm nervous about bloody Sunday already, like, you know, I really am. These away games, it's going to be tough. We've got to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely must win. And I'll say this lastly, right? Before a ball was kicked in the last international break, I thought we'd drop points at Forest, Sporting and Fulham. I didn't think we'd lose. I thought we'd draw all 3 of them games. I just think the Fulham, there's something about that really kind of, I don't like going there, you know, like, and I'm going to be there on Sunday. I don't like going there because it is a tough fixture. However, the last time I went there, I'll touch this wood here, it was 3-0 to Arsenal in the first half, and it was like, job done. Trossard got a half-time of hat-tricks. It's only ever been done once in the Premier League, if you remember it. I hope it's that, and it's not like last year, because that was actually, if you remember, Lee, last year, that was actually a really bad performance from Arsenal. It's one of the only...
Awful.
You remember, it's like Newcastle of this year. It was that bad, you know. I can't see that again. I've got to go and see us being convincing again, and hopefully we can get the job done. That's what I hope anyway. Give me a score prediction for Sunday, mate. What are you saying?
2-0. Be a tough game.
I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. I think we
Okay.
will. I think we will win the game, and I think we'll get. It'll be a 2-1, and then I think we'll nick it 3-1, and right at the end to convincingly win the game. That's what I'm going to go with, because I feel like we've got enough, mate. I think we have. I shouldn't be looking at this game going, I don't know how we win this. So I'm confident. I'm quietly confident, and I know they've got good players. They really have. I actually like Fulham, and I think Marco Silva is so underrated, mate. I don't think he's being mentioned enough, the job he's doing at Fulham. I think he's been excellent for them. And
No,
just quietly going about their business, just quietly winning a few games here and there. I think it's good. As Tammy said in the chat, it's Arsenal versus Arsenal 2.0, isn't it? Because basically Arsenal versus a Hale End is what they're saying. Because that's what Fulham have got, isn't it? Iwobi, Smith Rowe, Nelson, Leno, some of they've had Willian before as well, and some of the others. So look, I hope that we can get it and we win the game, and then we move on to the next. Game's thick and fast, mate. Every few days now until March, pretty much, really. Yeah. So we got to go on a run.
That's how you want it, Dan. That's how you want it. That's how you want it.
That's where we want to be. Listen, people, we're going to leave it there. It's a bit of a shorter one. Apologies. But please stay where you are because you're being redirected to Let's Talk Ball on my channel. You don't want to miss this one. Trust me. So please make sure that you are there for it. Big up to everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit the like and you subscribe. Make sure you go get yourself a drink. Stay tuned because you're heading over to me. Lee, I'll let you see us out, mate.
Now, listen, we all like set pieces at Christmas time. We all like a little set of underwear, don't we? Like, getting the missus some nice set of, we all like a nice bit of set jelly. And also, we like tennis, sets in tennis. But set pieces is the key. Yeah? Don't cut corners in life. Enjoy them.